Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the concept of introducing dynamic unlock pricing for soulbound reward cards, and why this idea could make a lot of sense for Splinterlands to look at introducing and rolling out for soulbound reward cards, and how it can really help balance card inflation and card scarcity and card appreciation moving forward in the future. So this idea actually comes about here based on a comment that I received just a few minutes ago from Gathering the Magic. A shout out to Gathering the Magic here. If you haven't checked out Gathering's channel on YouTube, definitely do so. It's a great channel with excellent content for Splinterlands. I'll leave a link in the video description below. But what Gathering had commented on my recent video discussing adding asset values back to cards, specifically wild cards, what Gathering had said was, Tails, what do you think of soulbound cards being automatically sellable or tradable if you have a specific amount of SPS staked? Say 25,000 SPS staked, and any soulbound card you have is now sellable on the market or tradable. Gathering thought that people who have invested in the game should be able to sell these cards. If the bots want to sell them, they have to buy SPS to hit that threshold. And my response to Gathering was this. After thinking about this briefly, I had mentioned, with the renting and easy transferability and liquidity of the SPS token, I don't believe this would work. It would be easy to rent or temporarily buy the necessary amount of SPS and then dump the SPS as soon as the cards were unlocked. I believe it better to introduce a DEC burn system for unlock, with the DEC unlock cost set dynamically to a percentage, say 95% of the current market price of said card. This would control card inflation and have the market only introduced the quantity of NFT-based cards that the player base is currently demanding and willing to absorb. Now, this is an interesting concept, and the reason why I think this is interesting is because it's what Parallel is doing with its Echo cards, with its ability for NFT owners to create echoes or copies of an NFT card based on dynamic market pricing, if they play with a card enough as kind of a benefit for owning that NFT and kind of gaining experience kind of for using it in battles. But where the reason why I think this would work really well for Splinterlands, having a variation of it, is, let me, I guess, elaborate a little bit more on the idea. So let's say, for example, soulbound reward cards are going to be unlockable. The team makes this basically happen here, sets a date and says, for the first 24 hours of minting soulbound reward cards, this is going to be a price in DEC of common cards, of rare cards, of epic cards, and of legendaries. Here's the regular foil price, here's the gold foil price in DEC. This will be fixed for the first 24 hours. After that, we're going to implement dynamic card pricing for any minting thereafter. What would that mean? Well, it means that you have an initial 24-hour mint that you could take the pricing that the team would set and say, well, I think this is a good price. I'm going to mint my soulbound reward cards here that I want to either trade or transfer or sell in the future at this price. Or if you think that the price is going to go lower than that in the future based on demand, you don't mint anything and you wait for the price to decline and then you mint in the future. After that 24-hour minting period, at that point, all the soulbound reward cards DEC costs are going to be based on a 95% of the last sold card price. So imagine this. Imagine a Kulu Mastermind. You have legendary card, and let's say the last card price it sold at in the market was $5. So the market sold the Kulu Mastermind for $5. And what you're going to have to do if you want to mint your version of a regular foil Kulu Mastermind at that point in time, because you want to sell it at that point, maybe you pulled it in a chest, or maybe you have it sitting in your collection. You said, hey, $5 is a good price. You're going to basically pay 95% of that $5 to mint that card in a DEC burn. That's good for the SPS flywheel and the DEC peg value. And what it does is not only does it burn DEC, but it burns it at a price that the market said this is the value of this card currently in the market. Now, at 95%, that would basically allow you to list the card at the previous price with no markup and basically cover the market fees and get your money back. But more than likely, you probably want to make some bit of profit on that. Let's say you add 10% to the cost of that card and you list it in the market and you put it at, let's say, $5.50 roughly, right? We're just using round numbers. I'm not going to do the math here with a calculator for you, but you get the picture. Now the market could say, well, the Kulu Mastermind, is worth $5.50. I will buy that because I'm a player that wants that card and need that card. I can't get it anywhere else, so I'll pay $5.50. Now the next player sees that, and now the price to mint the next Kulu Mastermind at this point in time, assuming you didn't mint it earlier when the card was first released in that first 24-hour period, now the price is going to be 95% of $5.50. So what this does is it's a controlled minting process that the only time cards are minted in the future for Soulbound reward cards is if there's demand for those cards that the market is willing to pay those costs. Now you can mint it at 95% of $5.50, and if the market says it's not worth that, well then you might have to sell it for $5.40 or $5.30, and then the price goes down, and then the future price of minting also goes down. So it's dynamic in such that the DEC burn is based on what the market is willing to pay for the card. Now there's a little bit of arbitrage there. There's a market fee that's built in. That's why it's like 95%. You can maybe make it 90% and give you a 5% arbitrage for selling the card. That would be up to a DAO vote or the team to decide, but you get the picture. The valuation of the mint price just somewhere be in the range of 90 to 95% roughly speaking, and that's going to basically control the scarcity and the card inflation of Soulbound reward cards. So other than people that maybe mint as a speculation at the set mint price from the first 24 hours, at that point in time, any future mints are going to be only such where there's demand, there's players, and there's a market for those cards at that cost. That's going to prevent people from dumping cards in the market and driving prices down. It's going to make sure the cards are scarce, and the only cards that are available are the cards that are wanted and desired, and people are going to pay for them. This makes a lot of sense for NFT minting processes in the game. Instead of just dumping tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of Soulbound reward cards on the market with everyone just unlocking at a set fee and it's a quick race to the bottom, this type of feed based on the last market sales price, or you could even do an average of the last market sales price, perhaps over a 24-hour or 48 period if you didn't want to do the last sale. Whatever the team would decide the formula should be, would make it, again, I think, a very good process to control card scarcity, to control card inflation, and to make sure that there's value being had for players and minters of those Soulbound reward cards. Are you going to make a ton of money unlocking and selling Soulbound reward cards this way? Maybe, if the market thinks that the cards are underpriced, or maybe you make a small fraction of a percentage, 5, 10%, based on the demand of those cards. Again, this is a way to maintain scarcity, maintain value, and control card inflation. So what do you think? Is the dynamic unlock pricing for Soulbound reward cards something that would make sense after a first initial mint or release of Soulbound reward cards? Let me know in the comments below. And as we close out this video, just a quick shout out to the game that inspired this dynamic pricing idea, Parallel. Check out what all the hype's about. You can use this referral link to get started. You'll get 2 free apparition packs just for using the link above and beyond anything else you get in the rookie missions for this game. Parallel is doing a lot of great things in their ecosystem, both on the Web3 and Web2 side. There's a reason there's a lot of hype behind this game. Now is probably a good time to take a look at it. Things are going to get spicy here. This is going to be, I think, a game that you're going to want to have eyes and ears on moving forward. And yeah, we'll leave a link in the video description below should you want to check it out. Again, lots of good things happen over in Parallel. And until next time, keep stacking those stats wherever you may find them.
That's entertainment.